There are artists who dress well, and then there are artists who reshape what style means. Aaliyah was one of them. In an era obsessed with visibility, she mastered the art of mystery. Quiet, controlled, effortlessly cool. Her presence was magnetic, not because she tried to be seen, but because she seemed untouchable. Through clothing, she told a story that words rarely captured, about agency, power, and the right to define your own femininity. At just 15, she was rewriting the rules of image making in a world that wanted to decide what a young black woman should look like. Her style, that blend of masculine and feminine, streetwear and sensuality, wasn't just aesthetic. It was a language, a subtle rebellion. Oversized silhouettes became her armor. Sleek minimalism became her statement. And over time, as her sound evolved, so did her style. From tomboy defiance to futuristic sensuality, to the quiet, elegant restraint that would cement her as a legend. Aaliyah didn't follow fashion, she foreshadowed it. Her image would echo through decades, in the sleek cool of Tiana Taylor, the confidence of Normani, the effortless minimalism of modern streetwear. In this video, we're not just revisiting her outfits, we're decoding the meaning behind them. We'll explore how her wardrobe became an extension of her music, her mystery, and her mastery of self. Because Aaliyah wasn't just a trendsetter, she was a visionary who taught an entire generation how to speak softly and still command the room. And before we go further, let me be clear. This isn't a celebrity retrospective or gossip piece. I'm not here to analyze her personal life or the controversies surrounding her. I'm here to study her style as a language, her visual legacy as one of the most quietly revolutionary figures in modern music and fashion history. And if you haven't already, I really recommend checking out my playlist Black Women in Fashion. It's where I dive into the deeper relationship between style, identity, and artistry. Starting with Solange Knowles, a style evolution rooted in art, identity, and freedom, a visual study of how Solange turned fashion into a language of liberation, and Zoe Kravitz inspired fashion analysis, where I explored minimalism, sensuality, and quiet confidence in modern Black femininity. Those stories set the stage for this one, because Aaliyah's influence doesn't exist in isolation. She's a part of a lineage of Black women who've used clothing not as a costume, but as a communication. So if you enjoy this kind of fashion analysis, subscribe, explore the playlist, and let's keep uncovering the stories that live in the seams and stitches of Black style. Now, let's start at the beginning. Before the icon, before the myth, there was just Aaliyah Dana Houghton, a Detroit girl with a soft voice, sharp mind, and a vision that would redefine what cool meant for an entire generation. Section 1. The Teen Prodigy, 1994 to 1996. Before she became an icon, Aaliyah was a teenager walking into an industry built on image, an industry that rarely allowed young Black girls to define themselves. In 1994, when Age Ain't Nothing But a Number dropped, R&B was saturated with hyper-femininity, bright colors, tight silhouettes, perfectly polished choreography. Aaliyah arrived in shadows, quiet, composed, mysterious. When Age Ain't Nothing But a Number dropped in 1994, the world met a 15-year-old with the voice of someone far older, poised, restrained, already steeped in the contradictions of R&B. But the image we saw, the sunglasses, the oversized jeans, the cool stillness, wasn't yet self-authored. It was manufactured by the machine around her. Producers, stylists, executives, and most significantly, R. Kelly, who both shaped and exploited her early narrative. That first aesthetic, tomboy, mystique, wrapped around adult insinuation, carried the tension of a story being told about her rather than by her. It was protective and provocative all at once. The cap pulled low to shield her youth, the lyrical themes hinting at experiences she hadn't lived. The contradiction was haunting, innocence framed through someone else's desire. But even inside that architecture of control, you could feel something hers.
Excuse me, Aaliyah, I know you're a straight A student. How do you mix with, studies and / artists?
Well, it was very hard to intertwine school with the career, but I do feel that education is number one. Cool. So I work hard at that, and I go to performing arts school, so they're very helpful. They've been very cooperative with me.
Pushing through. In interviews, there's a quiet intelligence, a subtle awareness that she's navigating an environment too sharp for her age. Her body language says it before her words do. She's learning to use silence as strategy, distance as power. Those baggy silhouettes, at first chosen for her, start to read differently when you look closer. They became armor, not costume. The glasses that hid her eyes became the first sign of authorship. You don't get access to everything. It's as if, even in adolescence, Aaliyah understood that style could be negotiation, a boundary drawn in fabric. By 1996, the shift is visible. The mystery is no longer imposed, it's created. The restraint, once a cage, becomes a choice. She begins the process every Black woman artist eventually faces in a system built to define her. The slow, deliberate act of reclaiming her own image. What began as manipulation turns into mythology. Aaliyah takes the pieces of her early presentation, the coolness, the minimalism, the calm, and starts to own them. In doing so, she pioneers a new archetype, the feminine stoic, the woman who doesn't shout to be powerful, who makes stillness cinematic. This was the quiet birth of a visual philosophy, one that would later guide every aesthetic chapter of her career. Before the world called her an icon, Aaliyah was already learning that survival in the spotlight required more than talent. It required design, and so she began to design herself. Section 2. The Refinement Era. If her debut was the story of becoming visible through someone else's lens, then her sophomore era was the story of taking that lens back. When One in a Million dropped in 1996, everything changed. The sound was sharper, syncopated beats, unexpected pauses, digital textures, the sonic equivalent of cool precision. It was the first time Aaliyah's image, music, and voice aligned in full authorship. Working together with Timbaland and Missy Elliott, she entered a creative world that respected her restraint instead of exploiting it. Together, they built a new aesthetic language: futuristic R&B, clean and controlled, sensual without spectacle. Visually, she refined her signature minimalism. The oversized silhouette remained, but they were sleeker now. Tailored streetwear, black leather, metallic tones. It was a quieter confidence, armor transformed into uniform. In this era, Aaliyah's style became cinematic. She wasn't just wearing clothes. She was crafting a persona. The way she moved, the way she stood, the stillness between gestures, all of it became part of the design. This wasn't just fashion, it was choreography. Look at If Your Girl Only Knew. The black leather, the red lightning, the slow deliberate movements, everything pulsed with control. Aaliyah was no longer performing innocence. She was performing authority. It was the coolness of someone who finally knew what power looked like when it was self-directed. Her hair, straight and sleek, framed her face like an exclamation mark. Minimal, precise, deliberate. Her makeup softened, her palette matured, her body language slowed. She didn't need to shout her presence anymore. She was the atmosphere. This was also the moment where her influence started to ripple through culture. She turned hip-hop's masculine edge into something fluid, elegant, and feminine on her own terms. She redefined what streetwear could mean for women. Not imitation, but translation. Her aesthetic wasn't about fitting in. It was about setting tone. And beneath that polish, you could sense something profound. Aaliyah had learned to control not just her image, but her silence. She rarely explained herself. She let the visual do the speaking. The quiet confidence of One in a Million wasn't just in the music. It was in the space between her words. By the end of the decade, she stood as something rare. A pop star without chaos, an R&B icon without exposure, a woman who had mastered the art of invisibility and turned it into presence. Aaliyah had redefined not just her sound of her style, but the entire philosophy behind them. If her debut had been about surviving the gaze, this era was about directing it. Section 3. The Art of Mystery, Aaliyah and the Power of Subtlety. In the mid-90s, Aaliyah emerged as more than just an R&B singer. She became the embodiment of quiet confidence. She was undeniably sexy, but her allure wasn't loud or brazen. It was deliberate, measured, and magnetic. While many of her peers relied on overt displays of sexuality, Aaliyah's approach was different. She wore her confidence like an armor. A loose shirt, a pair of baggy jeans, or oversized shades could make her look effortless. Yet every movement hinted at a controlled, captivating sensuality. She didn't need to show everything to be unforgettable. Aaliyah's sexiness was inseparable from her control. She showed that power could be quiet and that desire could be commanded without surrender. Her subtlety became her signature, sexy, yes, but on her own terms. She set a new standard for how young women could be desired, not by yielding, but by guiding the gaze, shaping the narrative, and holding space for herself. That blend of mystery, confidence, and understated sensuality is what makes her enduring, inspiring, and unforgettable. Aaliyah didn't just make sexy look effortless, She made it smart, strong, and entirely her own. Section 4. The Futuristic Siren. By the turn of the millennium, Aaliyah had become something more than a singer. She was evolving into a vision. The world around her was obsessed with Y2K, metallics, technology, futurism, but where others imitated the future, Aaliyah embodied it. Her aesthetic transformed from late 90s cool to something sleek, alien, and almost digital. She was no longer just the quiet girl behind shades. She was the hologram made human. In Try Again, she appeared in a chrome latex and glass, a cyborg goddess moving through shadows and light. The choreography was geometric, coded, mechanical, but her presence stayed organic and fluid. Here, she bridged two worlds, the analog soul of R&B and the metallic precision of the 21st century. Her makeup told its own story. Silver lids, wet skin, serpent sleek hair, every reflection of light on her body felt intentional. The future wasn't cold anymore. It was sensual. Aaliyah's minimalism sharpened into a new kind of glamour, one that whispered instead of screamed. Then came We Need a Resolution, dark, moody, avant-garde. She moved with quiet power against flickering snakes and mirrored corridors, the ultimate metaphor for self-possession. The snake imagery wasn't about danger, it was about rebirth. She was shedding an old skin. This era also marked a shift in collaboration. Aaliyah was curating her image, working with stylists like Derek Lee, choreographers like Fatima Robinson, and visionary directors such as Paul Hunter and Hype Williams to craft entire worlds around her sound. It wasn't just fashion anymore, it was architecture of identity. And at the center of it all was a paradox. Aaliyah's futuristic image felt untouchable, yet deeply human. Her voice remained breathy and vulnerable, grounding all the high-gloss minimalism in warmth and soul. She represented a new archetype, the digital woman with a human pulse. When her final self-titled album dropped in 2001, it felt prophetic. The cover, clean, minimal, red backdrop, placed her front and center, gaze steady, expression serene. It was as if she had finally reached the balance she'd been sculpting for years. Strength, wrapped in softness, sensuality, encased in calm. Section 5. The Cinematic Era. By 2000s, Aaliyah was no longer confined to the frame of a music video. She had stepped into full-blown mythology. The world began to see her the way she had always seen herself, not just as a performer, but as a presence. Her acting debut in Romeo Must Die showed flashes of that power. Restrained, cool, magnetic, she wasn't playing a character so much as she was projecting essence. Even off-screen, her wardrobe evolved to match this cinematic aura. Long leather coats, structured silhouettes, gold jewelry balanced against dark palettes. She looked like she'd walked straight out of the future she had imagined in her music. But it was Queen of the Damned that solidified her as something transcendent. In the role of Queen Akasha, Aaliyah became the embodiment of divine danger, immortal, ethereal, ancient, and modern, all at once. Her costuming was visionary, sculpted metal bodices, jeweled headpieces, deep brown stones, reflecting light like liquid. She was otherworldly, a celestial figure grounded in the physical, regal, yet untouchable. The performance was hypnotic. Every movement slow and intentional. Every glance a quiet command. You could feel that Aaliyah wasn't just acting, she was channeling. Queen Akasha wasn't a departure from her persona, it was a magnification of it. The same mystery, the same control, but now elevated to divine scale. Behind the scenes, though, her schedule was relentless. Days spent on set, nights in the studio, a constant, quiet discipline that few saw but everyone felt in her precision. There was a sense even then that she was reaching some final form, as if she knew her image was bigger than time, and she was sculpting it with intention. By the time filming wrapped and her final album was complete, Aaliyah had done what few artists ever achieve. She had made herself eternal. Through style, through sound, through the mythology of movement itself. Section 6. The Ethereal Era. By 2001, Aaliyah had reached an almost mythical level of calm and confidence. Her self-titled album, sleek, mature, and genre-defining, marked the arrival of a woman fully in control of her art. She had just wrapped filming Queen of the Damned in Australia, worked grueling hours, filming by day, recording music by night. Still, she never complained. Everyone who knew her said the same thing. Aaliyah was disciplined, focused, and quiet about her pain. When it came to finish the Rock the Boat video, she hesitated. The first half had already been shot in Miami, and she wanted to stay in the US to rest, to be with her boyfriend Dame Dash. She was exhausted and reportedly afraid of small planes. But Aaliyah was the kind of artist who gave everything. Even when her body was telling her to stop, she pushed through. She agreed to fly out to the Bahamas to finish the video. Just one more day, one more shoot. That was her ethic: professionalism, perfection, peace. The footage they capture there is hauntingly beautiful. Aaliyah floating across turquoise water, moving with the ease that felt otherworldly, sunlight caressing her skin. It was as if she already belonged to the sky. But after the shoot wrapped, she was ready to go home. She said she was tired and had a headache, exhaustion finally catching up to her. She was reportedly given something to help her rest, and before takeoff, she fell asleep. Some say she was carried onto the plane unconscious, a detail that, whether myth or truth, feels symbolic, because by that point, the people around her, the adults, the industry, even her family, had been carrying her without truly protecting her. The plane was smaller than the one that brought her there, overloaded with heavy equipment, piloted by someone unqualified and under the influence. Moments after takeoff, it crashed. She was gone instantly, only 22 years old. When I say her death was more than a tragedy, it was a reckoning. The music industry that had exploited her talent since she was a child, the men who had failed to protect her, the relentless demand for perfection that pushed her past human limits, all of it failed her. Even her last moments, she was doing what she always did, showing up, delivering beauty, giving everything. And even though she really did not want to shoot that video, it was like she knew or she felt something, but she was really tired. Aaliyah's story is not just about talent or tragedy. It's about what it costs to be that perfect, that poised, that controlled in a world that keeps taking. The Rock the Boat video became her farewell, a message she didn't know she was sending. Gentle waves, white sand, a woman glowing in light gold. It felt less like a music video, more like a spirit ascending. Even now, when we see her floating there, weightless, timeless, it feels like she knew, like somewhere inside, her soul was already preparing to rest. The legacy lives in the details. Aaliyah's story isn't just about music or fashion. It's about restraint, mystery, and mastery. How a young black woman built an entire visual language out of minimalism, movement, and grace. She taught an entire generation that power doesn't always have to be loud. Sometimes it's quiet, deliberate, and beautifully controlled. That femininity could be soft and strong at the same time. That style could whisper and still change everything. And even now, decades later, her influence lingers in the silhouettes of new artists, the rhythm of streetwear, the soft confidence of women who refuse to be defined by anyone else. Gaze. Aaliyah didn't just define an era, she became the era, and she's still teaching us how to move through the world with elegance and edge. If you got something from this video, a new perspective, a moment of reflection, or just a reminder of how timeless she was, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps more people discover work like this. And if you're new here, subscribe. I have more deep dives coming on black fashion. But before you go, I want to leave you with a question. Do you think Aaliyah's quiet approach to style, her balance of softness and strength, could exist in today's louder, more performative era of celebrity fashion? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I would love hearing from you. Interpret her legacy. And if you want to keep exploring this conversation, check out my playlist, Black Women in Fashion, where I dive deep into how women like Solange, Zoe Kravitz, and more to come. Because Aaliyah may be gone, but her vision, her taste, and her energy still shape the world we see today. This isn't just history, it's her story, still unfolding. And I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye!